Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan. And Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
who take risks each day.
Keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now. Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens. Like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
you must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you. We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution, and
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship. And Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
All right, hey, yo, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Chakadash. Double honors and salutations to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much respect to you brothers out on the highways and byways pushing this truth with fear and sincerity. And Shalom to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Khalakar coming back at you with another video. And as you can see, Trump came out, and basically said that these 6 Democrats, talking against, telling the military to disobey Trump's orders. He's saying that's seditious behavior and it could be punishable by, unaliving them, basically. Here's an article from CNN, and this will be quick, just a little time from my lunch break or whatever, a little break from work, but says Trump accuses Democratic lawmakers who urge military to disobey illegal orders of seditious behavior, punishable by being unalived. It says President Donald Trump on Thursday suggested that Democratic lawmakers who urge service members and intelligence officials to disobey illegal orders should be put to unalive, sparking an outcry among Democrats on Capitol Hill that the president was seeking to incite violence. It says seditious behavior punishable by death. Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform, responding to a video from half a dozen members of Congress who previously served in the military and intelligence community, urging people currently in those roles to refuse illegal orders. And we just saw that in the beginning. They coming out and telling you they, used to be in the military, they used to do this, they used to be intelligence, and they telling you we can defy the orders that Trump is allowing. He's trying to push the narrative on Venezuela, right? Trying to invade Venezuela. He's already blowing up, giving the orders to blow up any boats that's coming in the Caribbean. And Venezuela to America is not a hop and a skip away. It's over 100 miles away. So who knows who he's, unaliving, when he send, when he tell the military to blow up these boats. Not only that, he's put warships, in the Caribbean that's getting closer to the island. Because in the name of, the war on drugs, which we know the CIA is the one that pushes these drugs into the communities of America. They push them across seas. They're the international drug, pen of the world, of the globe, right? The CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, that's in America, Babylon the Great, but don't forget, Venezuela is rich in the riches in the oil, and they wanna seize that opportunity, those resources. I've been watching a show called Landman, and it's about basically oil in Texas, and it gives you an insight of how lucrative and what this oil is all about, right? So check that out if you get a chance. But nevertheless, This is prophetic. In the scriptures, it talks about there's going to be sedition, right, among men. 2 Edges 15, starting at 14, says, "Woe to the world," woe means destruction, "and to them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands." Now, we know that this particular situation that's going on in America, where you have the divide is happening, right? You have one party, which is the Republican, and the next party is the Democrats, right? The plebeians and the patricians, I want to say. It's in the book of Maccabees, right? There's no different from today, this whole democracy, letting the people choose. But in reality, the choices are coming from who's ever in power and control. This is gonna spark a civil war. This has already sparked a civil war. There's already a civil war against the blue and the red. They hate each other. It's the reason why the country is not doing what it's supposed to do is because of the blue. The reason why the country not doing this and that, people are starving, the people not eating because of the red. They go back and forth with these things. And what the end all going to be is a whole civil war. People are going to stand up with guns in their hands and fight against each other, blue and red. Now, what Trump is coming out with, he can possibly get rid of the Democratic Party because of this, right? And I believe, I'm just speaking as a man, I believe that will happen. I believe that Trump, Nero 47, right, will get rid of the Democratic Party, or find a way to try to get rid of the Democratic Party, so there will be no more Democratic Party. And the end of the Democratic Party means nothing but Republicans. So only Republicans are going to be able to rule the country, basically being that driver's seat, the leader of the so-called free world, which is going to heavily push what that the small hats, doing what the small hats want, because they all backed up, all these politicians being paid by AIPAC, right? You see, they're secretly in bed with Amalek, pushing all Amalek's ideas and wants in the world by the wicked elite. But like I said, this type of energy is going to cause a civil war, which we already know that's going to be a class war, civil war, black versus white, blue versus purple. All of that is coming. Verse 15 says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They should not regard their kings or princes in the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? They're not going to regard their kings. They're not going to regard the government officials, right? They're not going to care. They're going to go against each other. As a matter of fact, Yahweh Shah, right? As a matter of fact, let me get, what is that, Mark maybe 3? Mark 3:23. It says, "And he called them unto him, and said unto them in parables, How can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand." And this kingdom, Babylon the Great, is divided against itself. So this place is not going to be able to stand. This place is imploding on itself, from every angle. It says, "And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end." And you see all these truthers coming out. You see all these people are blowing the whistle. Whistleblowers are coming out against Esau, his own people, right? "I shall make his tongue shall fall upon him. His own tongue shall fall upon him." Esau, kingdom is imploding on itself, which is going to cause Esau, Edom to come down with more, even more wrath, right? Revelation 12:12. He shall come down with great wrath because he knoweth he has a short time. So his time is running short, right? He's on borrowed time. His age, his uninterrupted part of rulership, minute or uninterrupted, pretty much his uninterrupted rulership, right? It says, no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. So, this place is it's against itself. Reading 2 Edges 15-16 again, for there shall be sedition among men, and we see that. We see people rising up. People are, fed up with the way things are going, and they're rising up. It says, there shall be sedition among men invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. Because of the pride of the city he shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their house with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and a great tribulation. So, you have people out there, either side, red or blue, geared up to pretty much go and destroy other people that don't believe like they do, right? There's civil war that's brewing. We saw it in the movie Civil War, right? Asking what kind of American are you? Where you from? Who you riding with? And if you're not riding with a certain side, you're gonna get blown. You're gonna get you're gonna be unalived. They show that in the movie, right? Which is nothing but predictive programming. Going back to this real quick. I only got a couple more minutes. But seditious behavior, punishable by death. Trump wrote this on Truth Social platform, responding to a video of half a dozen of Congress who previously served in the military and intelligence community, urging people currently in those roles to refuse illegal orders. It's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors of our country should be arrested and put on trial, Trump wrote, but also reposted several of the users' posts, including one that read, "Hang them, George Washington Wood." So this thing is turning up, man. 2026 is going to be a wild, wild year, right? Hopefully it's the last year, but we know these prophecies must come to pass. So with that said, I hope you're edified. We got some of that. Shalom.